A lot of you are here because you feel like Spirit has put you through the ringer recently. The last few years have been very tough for a select group of Earth Angels, and I am here to let you know what has been happening, especially with this revolving door of people that have been entering your life, leaving your life, entering your life, leaving your life since you were a kid. For a lot of us, we've had people that are on this cyclical journey with us, and it's like, I just want to get off. I just want to get off the ride is what I'm hearing. What is going on is that there's a group of soul groups that are now going to be closing out. There was a review that began in 2020 for a lot of souls, and the least of those souls were immediately pushed out of your life at that point. So a lot of you saw a gigantic outflux of people all of a sudden. And it might have been even people you didn't suspect were going to ever leave your life. These might have been folks that you thought were going to be in some way in capacity around forever. But these people were pushed out because of what they were saying about you. Spirit hears things that we don't hear. They're always around and they're always looking out for you. Those ones were pushed out first. A new group came in 2022. Went through the revolving doors with you. And there have been a trickle in of people since then. Although this has changed your outlook on life in a lot of ways, Spirit is saying to remember that these people are being flushed out of your life so that there can be a final, definite group that forms a concrete foundation for you, which a lot of us have never had. Even though we may have been surrounded by people, it's like we were never fully understood or held in our full capacity. We always had to be fracturing ourselves in order to be one thing for one person and one thing for another group of people. Constantly wearing a mask. You are now entering a phase of your life. Actually, it's not a phase, the rest of your life, where you are going to have souls around you that truly get you, truly fully accept you, and you're going to realize that so many of the things that you thought were issues with you and flaws in your personality are just who you are, and there's nothing inherently wrong with them. You've just been around a lot of crazy people. A lot of bad people is what I'm hearing. A lot of us Earth Angels also entered this trial period around the same time our soul group did. We are not exempt from the trials that the other people around us go through. During these trials for fairness, to ensure that we're prepared for the rest of our journey in the next stage, many people failed. Many of you probably watched people that you thought were really good fall from grace due to their own hubris and their own superego. There's a lot of moral failings that happened where it peeled away what the person actually thinks beyond what they were indoctrinated into, beyond what they were taught or told to uphold in society. Extreme breaches of character occurred, and breaking these fictions that people were writing about themselves was something that we kept seeing happen ever since 2022 especially. These fluctuations in stability in the matrix, in this collective, are now going to be stabilizing in the next few years. And that might sound very contradictory, especially with all of the insanity that's going on in the world stage and in America. Trust me, I'm feeling it too. I'm not one of those people that thinks this is going somewhere pleasant in America by any means. But what Spirit is saying about this stability is that we've been feeling these changes where we're getting pulled one way, getting pulled the other way, and it's been really discombobulating for a lot of us. Especially if you're somebody that is emotionally very tethered to the collective energy, which, let's face it, most of us are. A lot of us have been having dream scenarios or dream interferences during this time. Those things are going to be panning out. But we are going to be seeing everybody's true colors. And that's why a lot of this nastiness is being revealed right now. We're seeing the true paths that people have committed to. True colors and truer intentions. And people are speaking on themselves now. And this is in a public way, which you will be able to see if you listen with your spiritual ears when you're listening to any speeches, any of the news, anything like that. But this is also the people that you know. You're at a point now where spirit has surrounded you by truth. You are surrounded by truth and this energy of catalyzation, creating scenarios where other people have to reveal themselves. If you ask the right questions, people will respond with their true intentions, and it will shock you. And I think a lot of you have already seen this, but if you haven't, just ask. Just ask the question that you've had in your mind, and you will be surprised how people answer you. I can assure you of that. The Earth Protectors are being blessed by a truth spell, is what I was told. In previous incarnations of this timeline, things turned out differently. However, we have a different chance here. With this collective truth spell that we've all been asking for, we have the ability to make some changes and align ourselves with the correct people that will break through some of these foundational issues in a big way. If you know, you know. But we have to have the courage to actually ask the thing, to actually want to know the truth. And what I mean by that is that we've been put in scenarios, or are being put in scenarios at this time, where we can find people that we really truly resonate with, that you feel a lot of love for. And you can see their flaws, but you choose to love them, okay? In one way or another. And there may be a glaring truth about this person that you are too afraid to know for sure. Or people. For some of you, this is a family. If you have the courage to really look at the situation and look at the energy and feel into it, you're going to get the answers that you need. If you speak honestly, out loud, either out loud in a notebook or to people you know, you're going to hear the truth come out of yourself about what you actually know to be going on. You have all of the pieces to the mysterious scenarios that you've been going through your whole life. There's a lot of earth angels that have been put through tremendously abusive situations, but because of this unconditional love that we are taught at a young age, especially being raised in certain traditions, we're taught to suppress our own feelings to uphold the feelings of others, to uphold a certain status quo. And that has to be let go of. And I know that's not a popular thing to say, but what I want you to know is that love for yourself and preservation of the self and true freedom is essential to creating positive change on this planet. And this is one of the hardest, most difficult, most heartbreaking lessons that Earth Angels need to learn, but now is the time we're learning it. We're learning the value of truth versus the value of compassion, where the line of compassion must end in order to bring justice. And that's a hard thing, because I can hear a lot of you thinking, well, who am I to deal justice? I'm just me, right? But the thing is, you know that you were sent here for a purpose. You know you were sent here for a reason. And you are not nobody. You are somebody with actually incredible abilities that other people don't have. You've been able to do things that shocked yourself. And it's because you're one of the people who are awake to yourself. But what you haven't been awake to are the actions of those around you. And that's where Spirit wants you to wake up, and where it's essential for you to complete your mission and for you to continue changing things in a positive way on this planet. You must come out of this. You must come out of being afraid of knowing other people's true intentions and acting accordingly. We can't just mindlessly accept that certain people are just younger souls and acting up. We must treat them accordingly. Now, some other things that Spirit brought up in the transmission I was getting was exploring your use of free will. If you want to know something, just ask. If you want to do something, just try it. And that might feel very strange after such a constrictive few years. 4 years, I'm hearing. And it's true, we have been very constricted the last few years. But that's why it's so important to start stretching. You know, it's like Spirit wants us to stretch out our free will again, stretch our thoughts and our way of comprehending things, because there are so many energies right now that want to pull the wool over our eyes, both on a world stage and on an individual stage, because these entities work through groups the same way they work through those around you. You can have a conversation energetically with these worldwide massive entity groups, or you could have it with the person that you have dinner with every night, if that person is not aligned with the same frequency of source energy that you are, and they connect to something darker. It is irrelevant how these people connect to you. The same entities that pursue Earth Angels for lifetimes are still active, and we have an opportunity to completely shut them down. Now, energy is not created or destroyed. It's recycled. But a lot of people are misunderstanding what transmutation actually means. You can't catalyze hate into love. There's too many steps in between that. You can't get punched in the face by somebody that's trying to kill you, and you say, "I love you so much," and give them a hug. There's too many energetic interferences between that. There's too many physical interferences between that. Those energies are diametrically opposite to each other. And that's why we have to, and this is tough, we have to bring ourselves to a point where we can match that energy enough to get it the hell away from us, or stop it from affecting others, before we can add love to the equation in the way that a lot of us have been taught to do. And I'm not saying go out and hurt people or get revenge. I don't think that's how that works. And that doesn't obviously lead to the outcome we're looking for. But think about it in terms of, I don't think I can say this on YouTube actually, of somebody who goes out and commits heinous crimes. Like Dexter, the TV show, okay? Where he would go out and he would people, okay? You can't go up to somebody like that and just be like, "It's okay. It's okay that you're making these bad choices and I forgive you." It doesn't stop him from doing anything, right? That person's going to go on and continue making those bad choices because they are gaining something. And part of what they are gaining, if we respond this way, and everybody that is an Earth Angel on this planet responds this way to these negative entities that are doing these horrible things, is they're gaining a push. Oh, okay, I see that if I do this thing and somebody notices me, I get to continue. That boosts their confidence. It really does. That's an energetic push in the direction they're already going. That's momentum. Okay? And this is what Spirit is talking about. There is a matching of energy when somebody is stopped from doing a negative action. You know, put in prison or whatever your example is, right? They're stopped. That energy has to be catalyzed in a different way. And it is going to be slower than if you could meet that energy with love directly. And the reason it's slower is because a lot of us aren't making this connection. When you come from the higher dimensions and you incarnate on Earth, and your soul is still very tapped in to the other side and tapped into unconditional love, that's all the way up here. That is a super fast energy. And when you're tapped into that energy, you can manifest very, very quickly. It's quick. It's light. It can move very easily. Those people are down here. It's super dense energy. It's very, very difficult to get things done quickly because there's a lot of moving parts and they're all fighting each other. Nothing is in alignment there, right? And that's why meeting those things doesn't add up. They're too different, okay? There's a scale, and you have to go back on the scale a little bit. So Spirit wants us to pay attention to that, and I'm hearing get real. There's some of us that really, really need to get real, and I'm saying that because not only is that the energy of the collective, but that's something I personally went through as well, where you notice that all the things that you've been pushing under the rug for other people will bite you in the ass eventually. And you need to take care of yourself and quit giving these other people that boost. Oh yeah, continue. It's okay. You can't keep doing that. Take care of yourself. All right, let's see what else they would like to speak about. Spirit does want to assure us that this is only a season. This is not something that is going to be this intensity forever. As I said, this started in 2020 for a lot of us, in 2022 for a slightly smaller group that are connecting with this message. And those of us that went through this first are going to feel relief quicker, okay? There's a group here that has already largely pushed these people out of their lives. And now it's like this gentle breeze is finally starting to come in a little bit. And it's still slow, because there's been years and years and years of that resistance not being released, right? You were still up here sending these people love and praying for them. This is going to sound crazy to some of you, but when you pray for somebody, you are offering them protection. If you are a spiritual person, you can ask the divine to take care of things for you and do what they need to do for that person. But if you are praying for that person's safety and health and continued success and blah, 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 all of these things, you are adding a layer of protection that allows that person and enables that person to continue. And if they're really doing negative things and they're hurting people and they're doing all this stuff, you see where I'm going with this. And that erodes yourself. Because let's be real, there is an inner child part of a lot of you, and I'm hearing an inner teenager, that was like real loud right here, that needs you to pay attention to how you're actually feeling. So many earth angels and light workers are going through this life all love and light and, you know, just wanting to keep feeding cookies of positivity into their future, and it's very disingenuous. And there's a part of them that's filled with rage, and you have to let this stuff go, because all that rage, again, is like stopping up the cogs of the machine that get you manifestations, right? And allow you to move forward and allow you to push your positive manifestations out to help others. All that stuff gets stopped up if you're being disingenuous with yourself, and that will reflect around you. If you are not being honest about how you feel, you're going to allow other people to be dishonest around you, right? You're going to tolerate a lot of bullshit from people if you do this. It creates an atmosphere of a lot of chaos, a lot of disrespect, and a lot of shifting. A lot of people switching up on you. I have tectonic plate coming up here. Tectonic fault, it says, an earthquake. There's a lack of stability. It's an unclear foundation. And again, this is all coming back to these soul groups that are kind of shoring up, slowly but surely over the next few years. We're coming into the end of it now. I'm hearing 2 more years left at the time I'm filming, but take it as it resonates. You might be watching in different time than at the time I'm filming. This is a timeless message as usual, and Spirit will get this to the people who need it and who connect with it. However, this tectonic plate energy is again like that lack of foundation, because your soul group hasn't gotten real yet. Your soul group isn't clicking into place yet. There's still people going through the revolving door, and you gotta shut the door. It's time to shut the door. There are people who literally do not want you to prosper, and they are playing in your face. And you know, that's not for everybody on this planet. You know, if you're not connecting with them, this message is not for you. If you feel in your heart and you know in your heart this is absolutely true, then this is for you. okay? I'm not here to say, like, this is definitely for this person, like, it's definitely for you if you got on this video. You know if it's for you. Again, get honest with yourself. But I have flower coming up in reverse here, and to me, these are people that don't want you to bloom. They want you to stay stuck, tired, sick, and, you know, that sounds crazy because for some of us here, I'm hearing, like, some of us have family members that do not want us to succeed and are much more comfortable when we're struggling because it makes them have value, right? Like, this is the fragile narcissist type of energy where they feel needed. They get that supply from you whenever you need something from them. Oh, I can help you, right? But really, these people, a lot of them are kind of manifesting your downfall, speaking ill on you. I'm hearing calling your employer for some of you. Ugh. There's a lot of hidden energy. Number 4 or 40 is significant for somebody here. You might want to look up that number if you're connected to angel numbers. Here in 40 days in the desert. So, you know, for a lot of you, if you connect with that, you know, that symbolism, I feel like you're coming out soon. But this is like the last steps, so to speak. This is the last few days. Don't fall for the mirage. Just get the hell out of the desert. And again, you know, I was just talking about the 40 days through the desert and the migration came up. You're moving from one era of your life to another. This is big energy. This would be major arcana in the tarot. And it's coming across as like the Wheel of Fortune type of energy. This is a full shift, a full revolution of the wheel, and you can't turn it backwards. Once this is done, this is done. These people are gonzo after this, right? And, you know, with basking coming up in reverse here, I'm really getting this energy of like a lot of, you know, these negative people that some of you have around you don't want you to be able to rest and lay in wait and kind of like hang out and do what you need to do to recuperate. Some of you are getting really exhausted and almost like run into the ground or in burnout because of people that are constantly, I'm seeing somebody pulling a string. It's like they're unraveling you by just kind of like constantly calling you with stressors, never lifting you up when you need it, but you're always lifting them up. They're pulling out threads, and it's wearing the sweater very thin at this point. A lot of these people are guilt trippers. They bring up a lot of memories that you had together, but those things haven't happened for some of you in decades. And again, this is all about, you know, getting really clear with the story. I was just talking about unraveling. It says unraveling the story, and this came up in reverse. A lot of you haven't gotten the full story, either about your own origins, your family origins, or for some of you, there's like some kind of either romantic or friendship like drama that's been happening, and you're like on the outskirts of it, and you're feeling the repercussions of it by the way that people respond to you or the way that things occur in your career, in your life, and you're like, why is this happening? And it's because these people have been really digging for dirt on you. It's like they're looking for the skeletons in the closet with fossils here, and they might be telling people either made up stuff about you or things that happened so long in the past that they don't reflect your character at all, or they're super embellished. You know, there's a lot of kind of like lying happening behind the scenes, or people trying to make you look, I'm hearing, like how they actually are, because a lot of these people carry deep shame but would never admit that. There's a lot of dark triad type personalities coming up in this reading. And, you know, ironically, with unseen remains here, a lot of these people are trying to make you look bad so that people aren't looking in their direction because their stuff is way worse. I'm hearing some of those people are watching, so... Just know, to all of you here, that this is an ending, you know, in a powerful way and in a positive way, as long as you get honest. This, as I said, is a full revolution of the Wheel of Fortune. Things are closing out, but you have to help it. That energy is not going to rise up to meet you. You have to come down a little bit to meet it by going into the hard stuff. Going back to that shadow work and being real honest with yourself. And it is not cute, and it is not pretty, and it doesn't feel good. And you might have to do it on your own. But this lucidity is what is going to get you to the place that you need to be. Because a lot of you have been denied opportunities behind the scenes that would have completely changed your life because of the things that the people around you are doing or have done. And it is disgusting, and it is unfair, and Spirit is trying so desperately to get you to accept their help and get you to accept the truth so that you can move on and move forward, and you can receive now instead of constantly dumping yourself out and giving. There's there's so much light that wants to come into your life and has been strategically denied to you for some of you since birth. And it's time now. I don't love using the term karmic return, but that's essentially what this is. It's like there has been this buildup of positive energy that just desperately wants to come to you. And it's up to you to reach out and receive it and not feel weird about it. It's time to let go of this guilt that people have put on you, and time to let go of this shame and these feelings of anger at yourself for not being enough, because that narrative was constructed specifically so that somebody else could look like they were better than they actually are, to keep people from looking their way. There's something here about Spirit handing bread, like a loaf of bread. And I feel like this is like sustenance, like you can finally rest for a little bit. You can finally have enough to eat and not have to scrounge around in the dirt for enough. Because a lot of you have been going through poverty and just really trying to get through it. And it's like every time you would get it together with the tornado here, it's like some crazy thing would happen in your life and wipe it out. Yeah, volcanic. Like, just too many things would go wrong at the same time. Overgrowth. And it's because, and then that led to a dark night of the soul. But the reason that these things happen this way, and I hate to say this, but it's because of the actions of others. These weren't random events. Spiritual warfare works through physical people most of the time. This is not something we talk about enough. A lot of people in your family are monitor spirits. A lot of people in your friend group are monitor spirits, or in your workplace. Not all of this stuff is simply a spirit, right? These spirits can work through flimsy people. Flimsy isn't the right word. Unstable people. If somebody doesn't have a solid value system and a solid set of boundaries, physically and energetically, some of this stuff can influence. Some of this stuff can puppeteer a little bit. And I'm not saying these people are innocent. You have to consent to that. You have to have a matching energy for that kind of stuff to happen. But just as these people have things that want to come in and puppeteer them, you have a ton of positive energies that have come in and helped you make decisions to push you away from crazy situations. For some of you, this has saved your life. Quite literally. I'm hearing closed mouths don't get fed. Say what you want to say. Now's the time. This next 3 months for you, whenever it is that you're watching, are going to be the era of you healing. And your healing doesn't have to be cute or pretty or inspiring to anybody but you. Sometimes you healing looks like pissing a lot of people off by just doing what you need to do in order to finally feel that sense of, oh, I can forgive myself now. I can finally accept that this is how I actually feel, and this is okay. It is okay to feel this because I am responding to real things that happened. All these narratives that were made up about me because of my response are not because I'm a bad person. It's because I was pushed into the responses I had. Okay? That's for somebody. seeing a pitchfork. There's a lot of people that have really almost like gotten a mob together to come after you. And it's like whenever you really needed help, you would go to the groups of people that were around you, whether this is family, whether this is friend groups, you know, whatever it is that's landing for you. It's different for everybody right now. You would go to these people and you would ask for help. And it's like crickets, like dead silence. And it's because these people were avoiding any kind of shadow work with the moon energy here. Some of these people, for some of you, have abilities the same as you, and they work with the moon cycles. If you notice that the same things happen cyclically each month, you may want to work with the sun's energy and the moon's energy to disrupt this. Because there are people who do spell work using the moon cycles. And curses are mechanical. Curses work in a cyclical way. That's why things will repeat themselves until you dismantle the machine. This is the way you dismantle the machine. You call in your light codes. You call on your ancestors. You call on the nature spirits that help you and surround your home and surround the planet. And you ask them to teach you how to direct the energy and how to work with you. You step into the role of being the main character again in your own life. Take the steering wheel is what I'm hearing. For some of you, that means literally move away. A lot of you have been wanting to learn from an elder your whole life. And it's like, I'm hearing like elder abuse, but I'm hearing it in the opposite way that it's typically used. Because elder abuse, as I've usually heard it, is like somebody younger abusing an elder. And for some of you, that may be the case, but the way that I'm reading this right now is like the elders abusing children. It's like each time that you seek out a reasonable adult, so to speak, you're met with like the worst, most dysfunctional situation, one way or another. And it's because you are meant to be the teacher. And that's not a fun feeling. Trust me, I get it. But there are people who have these abilities. You are one of these people. You can connect with your elders in spirit. They don't have to be connected to like your family or anything. These can be elder spirits that are from a different lineage than you. But typically they will be light beings and not be connected really to like earth cultures most of the time. And they're older than that. And they're going to help you breathe life back into yourself. Because the archetype of the elder has been through everything. They've seen the worst of the worst. They've seen the best of the best. They roll with the seasons. They know how to handle themselves. And they'll know how to handle you. And you won't be too much for them. And, you know, with the prism here, you will be able to connect with these energies of the elder archetype. And it's like they will send your light, the light of who you are, through a prism so that you can see where you were fractured, where you've been split. Many of you have the ability to do shamanic soul retrievals. And what that means is that in a lot of cultures, people believe that whenever you go through a traumatic event, a piece of your soul can almost like split off and get stuck. I've personally experienced this, and this is something that I do in my own practice as well. And I've helped some people with, right? And what that means is like, if you have dreams about being in your family house or being stuck in a certain time period of your life, repeatedly, obsessively, there's a piece of you there. You need to call them back. And you need to be willing to sit with what they tell you, and you might not like it, and it might not feel good. But they need to be heard. You need to caretake these parts of yourself, and you need to lean on these elder spirits to help you with this. Spirit wants you to know that there's a morning after every dark night. And you've done your time in the dark, my friend. So with that, I'd like you to know that I will be lighting incense for you guys. I miss you guys. I was very, very burned out whenever I was last on here. And to be honest with you, I ended up coming in contact with quite a few very difficult energies before I left that really kind of turned me away from doing spiritual work for a while. And maybe I'll do a story time sometime, because I wasn't sharing a lot of the stuff that happened to me, and I think some of you could hear this and probably relate. All of us are going through a lot right now. However, I have faith in you, and I know that you can feel the truth of what you need to realize in yourself and the changes you need to make, and you can make them. Let me know in the comments if any of this resonated for you, or if I can support you in any way. I'm sending you guys lots of love. I'm hoping to do more of these soon, and I'm glad to see you guys. I've really missed you. Take care.